The UK almost had its very own Chernobyl disaster, and there's going to be a game about it. This is what happened during the Windscale disaster of 1957. And when I say it was big, on the INES scale, which stands for International Nuclear Event Scale, it was at level 5, which in comparison to Chernobyl and Fukushima's level 7 is pretty damn scary. Windscale was the UK's first nuclear reactor built in the northwest of England in the late 1940s, as part of the race to arms of the Cold War. During a routine maintenance, it was noticed the temperature was rising, and upon investigation found that the uranium-filled graphite core had caught fire and Windscale was on the verge of collapse. This soon turned into a raging inferno of 1,300 degrees centigrade, or 2,380 Fahrenheit for you Americans. The operators very quickly jumped into action, risking their lives to fight the flames with cooling fans, carbon dioxide and water. They even had to ask volunteers from a nearby cinema to help. Imagine that, happily sitting watching a film with your family and then being asked to risk your life fighting a raging inferno and potential radiation poisoning. It took over 3 days for the fire to die. A radioactive cloud spread across the UK and Europe, with around 240 cases of cancer, particularly thyroid, being linked to it. The sale of milk from the area was prohibited for over a month to stop kids from literally drinking radioactive iodine. But that was it. No one was evacuated, no iodine pills were given out, most people weren't even told about the fire, and those who worked there and lived nearby were instructed to keep quiet and carry on. It was hushed up well and good. Even now, the Windscale disaster is classed as the 4th worst nuclear disaster in the world. And it was this close to being so much worse. British physicist and Nobel Prize winner for splitting the atom, Sir John Cockcroft, noticed that while the reactor was being built, if there were to be a fire, there was no way to stop radioactive dust from spilling out into the world. And he had to fight for chimneys to be added, despite him being criticised because of the added costs and time delays. If it wasn't for these chimneys, the whole of the Lake District would have been wiped out, and the filters in them caught 95% of the radioactive dust particles. And now there's going to be a game inspired by if the Windscale disaster wasn't contained. Think of it like Fallout, but based in England. It's called Atomfall, and the reveal trailer was shown at this year's Xbox Game Showcase. There's not too much known about it just yet, but what we do know is that it will be a survival action game set 5 years after the disaster in northern England. You'll be exploring a quarantine zone in the British countryside, where you'll scavenge, craft, barter, fight and talk your way through in order to solve the mystery of what really happened. Every choice you make will have consequences, and you'll encounter eccentric characters, cults and rogue government agencies. It's being made by UK-based Rebellion, who created Zombie Army VR and Sniper Elite, but also owns 2000 AD Comics, known for my favourite Judge Dredd and Rogue Trooper. So you know there's going to be some proper good quirky British humour in there. I'm really excited about this one, and it came as a very pleasant surprise for me during the showcase. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Atomfall, so make sure you hit subscribe for more updates.